are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this.
5.0 GPA, like 5.0 out of 5.0 GPA, perfect GPA, which is the first in the university history, you know. And it was like, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I reading very hard? Why am I studying the program I intend to leave, even though I was preparing for JAM? To cut the long story short, I didn't get the medicine the second time, and I'm really glad I didn't get it because I'm much more happy with microbiology now to face the reality. But the fun part, or the greatest lesson I learned, is that sometimes the beginning may not go the way you want it to be. Things may not be going your way, but that little opportunity that you see, just make the best out of it. I took a course in my second year in undergraduate called entrepreneurship. And one of the striking definitions of entrepreneurship that's I think I will never forget is the definition that an entrepreneur is someone that sees opportunities where others see challenges. Obviously, all of us are not entrepreneurs. I'm not one. I'm not like Onyinye that's leading my start here, or Comfort that is doing amazing stuff. But that basic definition that when there are challenges, the intentional movement to see opportunities in it, to adapt beyond the reality, we are forced to complain, to do the extra hours work. I remember during my undergraduate, I was doing a lot of part-time job. I spent a lot of hours to read. And it's even affecting me now. I can't sleep more than 5 hours in a day or 6 hours because it's an attitude that I've developed from undergrad program. I'm trying to change that because it's not LD really, but it's a function of immense hard work, trying to adapt to reality. How can I make myself different? How did I want to set a new record? So the topic, I'm sure Comfort is still going to ask a question about that, but just to give like a central thesis of of whatever I want to share today is that the job market space, or the future of job, will keep evolving. But there's a hard reality I tend to understand about the job marketplace. The evolution of the job marketplace is not magical. It's also influenced by human beings, some of which are youths also. So it means that where the future of job is going is I've come this far as a function of immense hard work. I work really, really hard. I study beyond what I'm asked to study. I'm passionate about a lot of course. You've seen in my profile that Comfort read. Beyond my immense passion for science, I'm passionate about humanitarian development. And this is personal to me because I experienced poverty in the purest form. I came from a background with nothing, and my greatest wish in life is not to see another person go through what I've went through. Unfortunately, I cannot change that for everyone. But the little amount of persons, or the number of persons I can achieve that feat of bringing them out of abject poverty, I will dedicate all my life to it. So I see challenges as a limelight. I see challenges as an opportunity not to make it repeat itself again, and as a way to make impact. And I think that mindset is very fundamental to achieve success.
Wow. So yes, I hear Kenny mention adaptability, that is ability to cope with the realities and to understand that the job market is always changing, but hard work, being able to cope with it is very important. So Kenny, I still have like 3 questions. So it's a lot today right now. Okay, so I would like you to compare your experience in the Nigerian university to what you are currently now. Okay, and this is why I'm asking about, that people that are unemployed, and 3.3%, according to statistics, are also unemployed, right? Then employers are complaining that there is a huge knowledge skill gap in the school system, in the university system, and all of that. Okay, so I want you to really give us your own thoughts about it. You've tested the Nigerian school system while you were an undergrad, and now, of course, you're at Indiana University. You know what it is. So can you make a comparison? What's the difference?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. One that it's pretty difficult in the Nigerian educational system to the United States. Like, let me say that it's even something not to compare. Let's be clear. Beyond Nigeria, the United States have one of the best facilities in the world when it comes to education. It's absolutely interesting. Smart people, and the US is so accommodating to people from different world. And most time they just bring in geniuses. And over the years, hundreds of years, these people have built the United States. They have a lot of challenges, obviously, but the educational system is far, far beyond what I've experienced in Nigeria. But coming from the positive tone of what is good about the Nigerian education system, before I move on to what I think the Nigerian education system can do right, I think one fundamental thing the educational system has taught us is absolute resilience, and it's not it's expected. The system is filled of challenges, like even rushing to get to classes, inappropriate spaces to learn, trying to get the front reach, a lot of assignments by lecturers, the non-willingness to relate to professors. Like, it's difficult. Those things should not meant to be. But if there's one thing he has taught me is resilience. Now I'm a scientist. If there's one thing, like for those that are scientists, most of the experiments you do fail. They fail every day. But while I have my other colleagues that are from the US, from other country, and they get frustrated about experiments failing, I just keep going. I keep doing it again. I keep finding new ways, because I'm coming from a system where things in quotes doesn't always work. I'm just to keep trying our best. So you see, like, why most persons, tends to like oftentimes get relegated and have a sad experience. I think one thing that have shaped my mentality to some of my scientific approach here is the fact that I have to be resilient. But the Nigerian educational system is really behind. We tend to blame the government, and the government is not doing a lot. No infrastructural funding. I understand that ASU is currently on strike, the university is currently on strike. But it saddens my heart when I got here that I saw that the professors teaching us and the students also, everybody has a lot of faults, particularly the professors. Now, we don't have infrastructure quite all right. We don't have a lot of things to do some of this research. But one thing is fundamental, we are not updating ourselves. And that is where the problem of skill gap comes. A professor in a Nigerian university will still use the same decade-year book to teach the same topic, the same concepts. I had to relearn everything I learned in undergraduate when I got here. Not because those things are not correct, but because they are new research, they are new knowledge that have been published even before I got into my undergraduate studies that my professors didn't incorporate. So when I got here, there was a great level of gap between myself and my colleagues, which is that I thought these are things are microbiologically, but microbiology has gone far beyond that. Yes, I admit we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have things to do the research, but we can read these updates. Our professors can make us read them. They can teach us these updates. So the lack of updating our curriculum and knowledge brings a fundamental skill gap that we will not be able to compete favorably with the global space. And that is where we're having a lot of issue now. Look at it. Biology before is never expected to be fused with technology. But now there's hardly anything you want to do with biology that you don't have to use. You have to use technology. But here we are in Nigeria, we tend to separate these two. We are asking students that in biological science never to take anything related to mathematics or never to do anything related to tech. Like, let people explore these opportunities and see what they want. That is one thing I love about the United States. They have a major minor system where you major in your specific field, what you love, then you minor in some adjacent skills that will eventually help you. Nigeria is rigid. You don't even tend to choose your choice. You come into a curriculum that is now archaic, and we need to work more on it. So what is the way forward? The way forward is simple. That beyond the system gets possibly adapted, and by the time some of us, hopefully as we're getting to maybe positions of academics or position of places where we can make influence, we should always remember that as things evolve, we should evolve with new knowledge. And we're in positions to create knowledge. But what can you do now as a student, provided you're a student? Is that I think what helped me doing my undergrad is that I said I had a lot of gap, but I could survive because I read beyond what professors are teaching me. Now, unlike in 1990, in the early 2000s, where most of the thing you have to study is just going to the library and studying the notes or material the professors gives you. You can learn everything with just this small device, your phone. You did a particular topic in class and you're interested in this, just Google it. Google it, you see a lot of information to read. So there's need to be a conscious effort, even if some of our faculty members are not doing well. You also need to be conscious of this is what you love doing most. As Jessica asked, what do you like doing, like reading about online? Some person says money, some person says, I said science, some said politics. Like, I'm sure if anybody asks you what's the latest update with that, you have the right answer immediately because you consciously read that every day. So while you do what you love, also try to increase your knowledge in your area of expertise. Oh, you are a computer science student. Try to search online, what are the current programming skills that is most valuable in the world? How can I learn it? Now, Google is so amazing that there are so many online courses that are free. I know we have the issue of data, we have the issue of electricity, but we, as Nigerians, we know how we can go around this. So basically, the system is far. I think it's going to be a long road to possibly meet the United States if we are going to ever meet them. But I would say that the story is not over. We can change the narrative. We can upscale ourselves. There are future professors here. There are future ministers of education here. I feel like one thing we'll never forget is that when we get to such position, we should try our best to ensure that the system is very competitive despite the limited resources. And I'm sorry I speak very fast, so I
Okay.
don't know if you can get what I'm saying, but
No.
I speak very, very fast.
I, yes, thank you, Kenny. I mean, you have even answered the next question that I have, and that's great. But I would just like point what you said that for students, it's trying to say that the system is really like a lot to catch up. But what you need to do as a Nigerian student is really to go the extra mile. You don't have to depend on everything that is given to you in the class alone. Study other, use your devices. That means you can't be a Nigerian student and be lazy, right? Okay, so Kenny, I want to ask you a final question, just like a summary of the whole thing. What do you think that the future of job is? And how do you think that we can be well positioned, undergrad, graduates? How can, one thing is that I want you to think in the global perspective, not just Nigerian alone, because it's very possible for someone to be in Nigeria and, tapping opportunities from outside the country, all and that. So I just want to get your thoughts about it. What's the future of job like, and how can everyone graduate, undergrad, how can you position yourself for it?
Now, it's a very interesting question. The first response that came to my mind, which might be wrong, when you said that the future of job is basically how we shape it to be. Obviously, I believe in that strongly. Like where the future of job is going, even though we are not major stakeholder, we also have some influence to play. However, the big question I love to ask, myself and also youth around me is that, what is the current job state? What is the current competitive landscape? Where are you in that current status? Like what is required today to be competitive in the job market space? I wrote down here in my notes while I was just thinking about this session, is that there's a large current job reality. But one thing that is also evident is that the search for talent is never ending. It's very interesting to see. Like everything's become so competitive, the world is saturated, it looks like there's no opportunity anymore. But I think Onye is the CEO of my starch, could also attest that the search for some talented person in their company is possibly still ongoing, is always needed. So you want to look at yourself. Oh, I'm in the finance space. I'm studying banking and finance, or I already graduated from the banking industry. Do I have the skill even necessarily to strive competitively currently in the banking industry? To fit into the future of job, it's very, very important to also know where you stand with the current reality. The hard truth, is basically sad, is that the Nigerian educational system does not even train us to stand fit or competitive in the current reality, not the less the future of job. So I would say that just an intentional mindset or effort, actual intentional efforts to know what are the necessary skills needed to strive in your field, and working towards it is so important. Once you do that, you become so competitive. There's no way you won't get a job, or if you feel like getting a job, or if you want to go into entrepreneurship or something, you get to understand how these things work. However, the future of job is heavily reliant on a lot of stuff. It's basically studying trends. For example, we know tech is a major part of the job. There's nothing you want to do without tech. It's obvious. But that doesn't mean all of us should be tech experts. You want to do tech, go for it. You're gonna make a lot of money. However, how can you fit into this ever-evolving role? There are some roles that are very, very dominant. There are some things that AI does, but some things AI cannot take away from us. Is it basic writing skills you don't have? Like there are some fundamental skills that I think that everybody should have. So the future of job is changing, but it's changing and it's shaped by individuals. And I think your first step towards tapping into the future of job is ensuring that you are competitive in the current job reality. And this is a broad question. I can only answer maybe from the science angle, a bit from the entrepreneurship angle, or from the United Nations humanitarian work angle. I know what the current stakes are there. I know if you are in this field, what you need to have. So I think your first effort is simple. What is required in my field currently to be competitive? What is needed for me to be, extremely relevant in this field if I want to be? So it's very, very, very important for you to know that. If you know you cannot fit into your current perspective, then you have to work on it yourself. Once you are in the current reality, then you will definitely understand the trend of where it's going. I think it's essential to know that. But I would also say that the future of job is, look at my starch. My starch is interestingly shaping the future of job. And let me use Onyinye and Bright's story, for example. Onyinye is here. I'm not sure if she wants to on her video, but I'll possibly just share a story. I met her in NUTM, Nigerian University of Technology and Management. And we are just a group of scholars, and we are working on different projects. And they discovered that they want to work on the fintech stuff. And the first thing they did really was so simple and straightforward, was to identify the major challenges in the system. Look at themselves. Do they have the skills? They brought the like of Bright. Bright is a tech expert that can help them. Onyinye is someone that I think our leadership is very fundamental. And I think for the whole 1 year that I was with them, everybody was just training themselves to adapt to what is at stake, like what is needed, what is required in this current space in the fintech world. Yeah, they now, they started their company, they got some investments, and now they are not shaping the future of job. So they are not just there without building the skills needed, asking the big question, what's the future of job like? They built themselves to, to adapt to the current states. Like Jessica really addressed a lot of important points. Like they built themselves to, adapt to the current state, to be relevant and get the needed skills, such that they can also contribute to not only being important in the future of job, they can also create the future of job. I'm sure you will be ready to converse with any of you. I'm sure she's very, very busy. Ibrahim Nireni is here also. Very great. Ibrahim, he was the first person, I think his video is on, that made me realize that there can be an intersection between literature and technology. I have never thought of it that way. And here he is, I think he's resuming for his PhD very soon, wanting to do research between literature, how can artificial intelligence contribute literature that will be suiting to the mind. Now, Ibrahim knows he's a great poet. He writes a lot of literary experience. But you understand that technology is shaping everything. So what did he do? Firstly, he learned everything needed according to poetry, according to literature. On the other hand, he also learned technology a bit in NUTM. He understands so many technical words. And yeah, he's creating a new field in quotes, although the field is existing. But wanting to come and contribute, how can we have an intersection between both of them? Ibrahim does not jump into this without getting the requisite knowledge of literature and technology. So the big question is, do you have the requisite knowledge? Ask yourself, where do I stand in my field? Can I shape the future with my current state? And just build your expertise and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I took too much of your time. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Kenny. That was amazing. So amazing. Like, I'm so glad to have you here today. So Kenny is really saying that if you want to be well positioned for the job market, you need to first understand the trend. You must understand what it is that is happening, and then you kind of strategize on how best can you really position yourself. Say tech is the main thing now. So how do you want to infuse tech into what you're doing? You need to really like sit down and ask yourself the hard question. And I also want to draw inference from what Ken is saying. So he's saying in the future of jobs, like what is going on now, you just have to think out of the box. If you are doing the conventional things, how everybody is, looking at a problem, then you're going to lose out on the job market. So, but you need to ask yourself, what can I do different? How can I solve practical problems? Like I used to say, Nigeria is a very fertile ground for whatever you want to do, entrepreneurship, whatever. But you need to ask yourself the question, what can I do? What can I solve? What is the problem that people are facing that I want to provide a solution to? So thank you so much, Kenny. It's amazing and it's a pleasure to have you here. So we'll just move to the next thing. We're about rounding up this session. And I don't know if Ibrahim, can you hear me? Ibrahim, can you hear me? Hi, Ibrahim. Okay, so I think Ibrahim is having some issues with his network. So I'm just going to take his session. It's just to tell us more about Mindtribe Africa, what Mindtribe is about, what we should expect. In fact, this is our first webinar, and we have a lot of things in stock to deliver to everyone, the students, undergrad in the Nigerian ecosystem. So I'll just run through what's bettered Mindtribe and what we are here to do in the next 5 minutes, 6 minutes, thereabouts. Okay, so Mindtribe Africa is actually about an education foundation that is centered around undergraduate students. So we found out in the school system, I mentioned the unemployment rate, the huge knowledge skill control, and the complaints of employers saying, see, we have jobs, but we can't give it to just anybody. So these undergrad, they are coming out of school, but they cannot really perform. So then students started saying school is calm. It's even better now to go to university than to go to university and then you come back, you're sitting back in your house and trying to find something to do. And someone who has not even been to university just went ahead to learn one trade or the other, is doing better, which is okay, right? So, but Mindtribe Africa is trying to rekindle the confidence that students have lost in the education system in Nigeria, making them to know that, see, it is actually possible to make something tangible out of the school system if you can be well positioned for, the future, if you can understand what opportunities are out there in the market and how you can align yourself, you can become, you can really gain from what is going on in the global market. So what Mindtribe really wants to do is that we want to mentor students from 200 level down to 400 level. So we are going to help them through a scholars program. The scholars program is about 3 levels. There is the foundation scholars program, there is the Eagle scholars program, and there is the Zenith scholars program. So students are going to move from one level to another because we believe that it's not just a one-time thing. It's possible to just say, let's mentor you for 6 weeks and then we release you, but that's not sufficient to really set students on ground for them to be able to say, yes, we are ready to face the job market. So Mindtribe Africa is really going to partner with a lot of organizations. We are already doing that, a lot of mentors, to help students to be stabilized, to help them regain their confidence in the school system and mentor them on whatever they want to do. So if you say, okay, after my studies, I want to become an entrepreneur, we are going to take you through a mentoring session that can make you grounded, that by the time you are starting your business, you are starting with knowledge. You're not going there as a novice, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, so you want to work in an organization, we are going to take you through some levels of training that will help you understand what is applicable in the offices. How are you supposed to relate with your team? How are you supposed to relate with your boss? All of those things. Then if you also want to be a professional, we are also going to, take you through the process of an academic rather. We are going to take you through the process of how you can achieve what you want to achieve. So Mindtribe Africa has 2 segments. We have the in cycle and the outer cycle. So we are just kick-starting with the outer cycle. With this now, it means we have more webinars in the future that we address specific problems. And very soon, sometimes around July, August this year, you should be expecting an application for our scholars program. So look out for it. And more of our webinars to come next month. Be expecting another webinar from us, and we'd love to communicate with you often. Yes, so that is Mindtribe Africa for you. We have a lot in stock, and it's a process, and we like to have everyone, on this journey with us. My team member Sheifumi is here. Sheifumi, can you say hi to everyone? She's an amazing person. She's the
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sheifumi. So Sheifumi is our programs coordinator. Then we also have Ibrahim as strategist. So we are working together on this project and with partnership with so many other people to make this big dream a reality. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Can you just type in your chat box, let's know, how did you find this session? Is it interesting? Or would you like to come again? Just drop something on the chat box to let us know how you feel about the session. Do you enjoy it? Just one sentence. I'm looking at the chat box, please. I'm looking at the chat box, please. Okay, I'm coming. I'm trying to read what it is. It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Bisola. I'm excited. Thank you, Motoyosi. Who am I missing now? Okay, I love it. Okoyemi, thank you so much. So thank you for this wonderful program. It's amazing and an eye-opener. I'm glad that we all love it. I'm glad. So thank you so much. We are going to reach out to everyone with a feedback form through our email. And apparently, we didn't record, sadly, we didn't have all this section recorded. I don't know, the network was really fluctuating, so painful. But we had a little part of it recorded, so we also share with everyone. Thank you so much. Jessica, thank you for taking out time to come here. And I would say, see you again next time, and God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Nigeria hasn't always justified the faith of its people, but the